going to be chatting about the most asked questions that we've gotten regarding toddlers at Disney World. So we're going to dive right into this. And then if you're joining us in the live stream, or even if you're watching it back later, feel free to comment below if you happen to have any questions, or if you happen to have any feedback for some of these questions too. We'd love to hear your opinions about these things, and you can be helping some other people make choices about their decisions and traveling to Disney World with their toddlers as well. And if you happen to be watching back at a later time, then you can feel free to comment below. We obviously won't be able to answer that in the video, but we can come back and answer it at a later time. So our first big, huge question that we always get is, which is the best park? And the question that we got was, someone asked on one of our videos, what is the best park for a 10-year-old? And if you don't know, we actually did make an entire video about how to decide which is the best park. And our answer to that question is, I think that because we target talking about going to Disney with toddlers, that people think, well, you know, is there a park that's better for this age group or this age group or this age group? But our answer for all of that would pretty much still be the same.
Yeah.
And so we'll go over that with you in just a moment. But one thing as a part of kind of the background on all of this is that, did you know that you may not have known that when Disney founded his first park, it was founded with the purpose that parents and children would be able to ride the rides together. So I actually think that something that's sort of interwoven into the fabric of like the history of the parks is this like concept of like intergenerationally being able to enjoy the parks together. And, you know, avid Disney fans tend to want to argue one way or the other about like the new parks and things that have been, or the new rides that have been developed. But overall, like there are a lot of opportunities to enjoy the rides together across ages.
We love that though, because with having small ones, there's nothing more frustrating than going to a park and paying for tickets and then you really can't do anything with your kids. Because we can't ride a lot of the big rides because we have, you know, 2 young children, but when we can take our kids with us, then you feel like you're experiencing more of the park. So we like that part of Disney.
Yeah, there are a couple of like amusement parks in Florida where all the rides are, and even like one particular theme park where all the rides for kids, you know, are just for them. So you're going to really kind of end up just escorting your child around the whole day and watching them, which there is a certain joy to that, but it is nice to be able to make those memories. It's fun to do it together. But the answer to that question though about which, so, you know, the question specifically was, which is the best park for 10-year-olds? But more specific, like more generally, what we're saying is, I don't think that there's any one that's specific to like an age group. So instead, when we decide, like when people ask us which is the best park to go to, we don't really ask so much about the age as we do about what are your child's interests. So for example, if your kid is interested in animals, if they really like animals, then
Animal Kingdom.
Right.
That makes sense.
Because at Animal Kingdom, you get to go around and you see animals. And you get to, there is actually something that a lot of people don't know, that is that Disney World has a petting zoo right there on property at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And
you can miss it if you're not careful. So it's good to know about it ahead of time.
It's at Rafiki's Planet Watch. So you take a train out to Rafiki's Planet Watch and the Animal Conservation Center. And there's a whole petting zoo there. There's also some other like kind of activities that you can do there too. And there's like there's some terrariums with some lizards and snakes and stuff. So those are some cool things. But if you like animals, then Animal Kingdom. And then if your child is really into characters, then
Epcot.
Right. We did a video not long ago where we did not plan to, well, our original plan was to go and check out Communicore Plaza and to do like a review video of that. But when I realized that like there really wasn't that much to it, and so we're like, all right, the walls, I think it was before Communicore. I think it was No, it was the day of Community Corps Plaza opening. And we thought, well, there's really not much to this. So we're going to
We had to think of something else to do.
Yeah. So when Pierce was going to go back to the van for his nap and Elena was going with him, then we went, Vivian and I went to see how many characters can we see without a plan. And it was actually kind of like a busy day in Epcot. And one of the things that happens in Epcot is that, first of all, nearly every pavilion in the World Showcase has animals characters that you can go see. But but on busy days, sometimes characters will come out from some of the different gates. So on that day, we happened to like really hit the jackpot and see a whole bunch of different characters. So that was really fun. And then one of the other things that so we saw a lot of characters that day. So if your child likes animals, Animal Kingdom. If your child really likes the characters and stuff, then Epcot.
And you can see characters at the other parks, Magic Kingdom and all that, but it's easier at Epcot. Like if that's something you really want to do with your child and that's something your child's looking forward to, then definitely do Epcot. It's just a lot easier. The way that Epcot's laid out, the way that the characters come out, it's easier and you have better access to them. So that's just something to think about.
And then, and of course, as adults, most people just think of Epcot as,
eating.
Yeah.
Eating around the world.
Right.
That's what we like.
Which is also fun. So you can take your kids to see all the characters and then you can eat all the different foods. We found that like toddlers don't really care as much about the food, but if you happen to be a foodie family, then you can enjoy that.
Right here.
And then if your child really likes shows, then
Hollywood Studios?
Right.
Okay.
So,
I was trying to remember which one was good for the shows.
We were, and what we're pointing out is that like there are characters to see in Hollywood Studios. There really aren't any animals in any of the other parks,
Yeah.
but there are shows at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like there's the Circle of Life Theater with Lion King.
Which is awesome, by the way. One of our favorites.
And there's Finding Nemo, like the sing-along musical. But Hollywood Studio has a lot of different shows. There are...
they have Elsa, they have Frozen.
Right, the Frozen
which
sing-along.
That one's good. My favorite one is Beauty and the Beast. I love that one. And that one's in Hollywood Studios.
And I'm trying to think of the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Is up there.
Now,
Yep.
for smaller children, you should know that the Indiana Jones stunt show has loud noises and action, right?
It has fire. Something catches on fire.
Right.
So just be aware. If you have little children, I wouldn't take them to that. But, definitely take them to Beauty and the Beast.
Well, we do take them.
We did, but they cried. Pierce
Yeah.
has cried and Vivian has cried before.
So just be aware if that's something that you think that you need to be to consider.
Yeah.
And then if your small child really likes rides, then Magic Kingdom has the most rides.
For the small children.
Right. And actually, really, it has the most rides of any of the parks,
Yeah.
Period, end of sentence. But it also has the most number of rides for small children. That's one of the things where I think Hollywood Studios is a little bit weak, is because there aren't as many rides there. And actually, one of the concerns that we have coming up with Hollywood Studios is they're going to remove the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy, so that's going to eliminate another show. And then I don't know what's going to happen while they transform the Muppet section of the park. Well, that's where people are speculating that Monstropolis is going to go. And so then that means that there's not going to be Muppets 3D anymore. So they're actually cutting out a couple of those shows for now, and likely they're going to replace those. But those are some things to take into consideration. So if you happen to be planning your trip for 2025, then you're going to want to look ahead and find out when those get closed off and then kind of make an evaluation about that. There are some show-like things in Magic Kingdom. Of course, you have the Festival of Fantasy Parade. You've got the...
Mickey's, what's the one where you put the glasses on? Mickey's...
PhilharMagic.
PhilharMagic, that's it.
And then also there is the Friendship Fair that takes place on the stage in front of the castle. And then, some pyrotechnics go off at the end. And, there's the Hall of Presidents, the Carousel of Progress, different things like that. So there are some shows. There are also some characters to meet. Like you've got Cinderella and maybe like a visiting princess, and then you've got Mickey and Minnie, and then some of the other princesses pop up around the park, and then there's Ariel. You can meet her in her grotto. You can meet Aladdin and Jasmine over in Adventureland. So there are some character opportunities. Really, the best all around like classic Disney experience is always going to be Magic Kingdom.
And I always tell people when people message me that have never ever been to Disney World before, and they message me and say, what park should I go to? I've never been and only have this amount of time. I always tell them Magic Kingdom because it's the ultimate Disney experience. If you've never been to Disney, then that's the park to go to. So, you know, especially if you have smaller children, because then they can ride the teacups and Dumbo and see all the parades. It just has all the Disney magic, and you can meet characters. So if you've never been before, then that's where you need to be.
All right. So,
oh, hi, Laura.
Laura says, hey guys, glad to catch you all live watching from Georgia.
Is it
so
cold
welcome
there?
From Georgia.
It's actually cold down here. It never gets cold here, but I turned our heat on for the second time since we've lived here in our area for almost 10 years. So it got down to 42 last night. So we're freezing.
Something I really like about this time of year is it really reduces the electric bill.
Yes, we like that.
So we mostly keep it off, but it's unfortunate we did have to turn it on. She says that it's not too bad temperature-wise. It's in the 40s.
Okay, that's better than it's snowing. It's snowing where our families are.
Yeah.
So
the 40s is really bad temperature-wise for South Florida.
Yeah.
So
yeah, our blood is different now. We can't handle that anymore.
Yeah, we had considered different places where we could potentially live, and we're glad that.
Yeah, we're glad to be down here.
Yeah,
it's warm.
So,
even today, it reached up to like 70, even though it was in the 40s last night. So it'd be good to stay here.
Let's see. I'm looking at some of the other comments that we've gotten on our Disney with the Toddler videos and questions. And if you happen to have any questions while you're watching, then be sure to drop those in the comment section below, and we will answer them live. The next big question that we typically get here is, I'm taking my 2.5-year-old in June, and would you recommend a few days to cover Magic Kingdom only? Not planning on going to any other parks.
If you can, yes, take multiple days. Absolutely.
So I was actually just talking with someone about like planning their Disney vacation, and they were thinking about like which parks they would go to, and they have 2 very small children. So I was my recommendation is, if you've got 2 little kids, take a couple of days in Magic Kingdom, and then maybe find so in this case, these people were going for 3 days. So they're going to do 2 days in Magic Kingdom and then 1 day in another park. So they happen to choose Epcot in this particular case, which I think is a good like secondary pick. But the reason that you want to try to take a little extra time in Magic Kingdom is because if you have never been to Disney World before, then you may be unaware of just how big it is. It's actually the size of Lower Manhattan. So there's a lot of walking, and there's a lot of stuff. Actually, we had some people who visited with us not all that long ago, and we got them into Magic Kingdom for a day. There were some friends, and or to Disney World for a day. And there were some friends, and they had never been to Disney World. So when we were looking at trying to get them into a park, Magic Kingdom was fully booked that particular day. So they were looking into a secondary park, and so we're like, oh, well, we couldn't get you into Magic Kingdom. We're gonna send you to Epcot. And they're like, oh, I thought we were going to Disney World. I'm like,
that is Disney.
Yeah, yes, actually. Some people do not even know that Disney World is 4 parks, 2 water parks, Disney Springs, and I don't know, countless resorts. I don't know how many resorts there are.
It's huge.
If you know, then you can tell us that, like, there might be some Disney nerds watching, and you can tell us how many resorts there are. But even among the resorts, you have the deluxe, the moderates, and the what's the word? Value resorts.
Value.
I couldn't remember that. I was like, economy. And the other word that came up was like cheap, but they're not cheap.
No.
Like nothing is
cheap. Disney and cheap don't go in the same sentence.
So, but Magic Kingdom though, we find that if you watch our channel regularly, something we're doing right now is that we're actually slow crawling Magic Kingdom. And like we took an entire day just to do Tomorrowland. And that was so that we wouldn't feel rushed. We put some boundaries around what we were going to be doing that particular day. And it was definitely enough to keep us busy the whole day. Of course, we did ride the Tomorrowland Speedway multiple times. We did ride the Astro Orbiter once and the People Mover two or three times. And then we went to the Laugh Floor twice. And Vivian loved that, of course, because she had gotten featured on the Laugh Floor. She was pretty excited about that. But, you know, that allowed us to be able to do things more than once, but also to make sure we did everything. And then we're going to do a whole thing where we spend the entire day in Fantasyland. We've been thinking about doing an entire video where we just spend the entire day in Storybook Circus, which is kind of a funny thing because Storybook Circus only has the Dumbo ride and like the splash pad, but we're pretty convinced that you could spend the entire day there with kids. Mm-hmm. And then we spent the entire day in Frontierland and Tom Sawyer Island and Liberty Square, because that section, you know, if you just did Liberty Square or you just did Frontierland, probably wouldn't be enough to fill up a whole day. And we're going to do a whole day just in Adventureland, I think. We'll see. We might have to do Adventureland and Frontierland or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But we spent a whole day just on Main Street USA. And actually, when we did that, we were really surprised by how many things there are to do on Main Street USA, and some things that would be really fun to go back and do with our kids, too. So there's a lot to do in Disney World, and especially in the Fantasyland section. I mean, in Magic Kingdom, there's a lot to do in Magic Kingdom, and especially in the Fantasyland section of the park, a lot of rides.
Yeah.
In that section.
That's actually a good segue for Carla's question. She said, hey guys, I've been to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom with 2 kids, 2 and 4. Is Epcot a good option or should I repeat? Have you been multiple times to Magic Kingdom? If not, I would repeat and do Magic Kingdom again for those reasons, because it's so vast and so big. And if your kids are so young, if you're pushing strollers and stuff like we are, you probably weren't able to see everything. And so if they're that young, then I would do Magic Kingdom again, personally, as a mom with 2 small children. Now, you can do some things at Epcot, but they're not going to be able to do much at Epcot at those ages. They can meet some characters. There are some shows and a couple of things like that, but if they like to ride stuff, then, you know, I would take them back to Magic Kingdom personally and wait on Epcot for a couple more years, if that makes sense. But you might have a different opinion. I don't know.
No, I think I do agree with that, because one of the things that we have come to realize, or came to realize before, I think our kids now, they've been to Disney so many times because we happen to live close, which is why we're able to help provide information and stuff. But the first few times we went, and especially when they're really little, they don't even know what they're missing.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
It's really, if you have this sense of FOMO, you just have to know that it's your own FOMO.
Yeah.
Like your child doesn't have that. And so sometimes it can be really helpful. I think the reason that it's been fun to do these slow crawling videos where we stay in one section of the park for the whole day is that, like I said, it creates boundaries, because I'm the FOMOist in our family.
Yeah,
like,
I'll just walk down Main Street at Magic Kingdom, get me a coffee. I saw the parade. I'm good. I'm going home. I'm ready to leave. But he's like a rope drop fireworks kind of person.
And that's not ideal for kids.
And kids can't do that, y'all. You have got to pick a struggle. Pick
Right.
one. Either do rope drop or do the fireworks. You cannot do both. And if you do, like, you're going to ruin their lives and your life too.
One of the things
It's
that
not worth
Elena
it.
said was earlier was that if you're there with kids and you're pushing a stroller and so on, that's one of the things that I think that people have to take into consideration, that they that when you go with small children, you need to be prepared to adjust your pace. Mm-hmm. So we had gone to Disney before we had kids, and even sometimes we'll go on like a date day. And when we go on a date day, because we're used to going there with the stroller and the snacks and the diapers and the things and all the stuff.
Popcorn bucket.
Yeah, and pushing them around. And then also listening to them give their feedback and opinions about what they want to do all day long, even if we have a plan already or something that we're doing. And sometimes, it's like, okay, well, we are going to go ride on this ride because we have this reason. Well, they don't want to do that, whatever. When it's just us and we don't have the luggage of the opinions, we don't have the luggage of like all this stuff, we can just zip right through the park so quickly.
Yeah.
I think we would easily, just a couple, be able to knock out Magic Kingdom in like a morning. I don't know.
You would. The pace that he goes, yes.
Okay, at least a day.
It's a marathon.
At least a day. But when we take our children, we want to make sure that it's enjoyable for them. And so when you're thinking about trying to make memories with them and put them first, that's really important that you adjust your pace. So that means that Magic Kingdom might take a couple of days. And if you do
and
that...
it really should, to be honest.
Sure.
It should take a couple of trips, a couple of days to really get the full experience of Magic Kingdom, I think.
That was a good question about... So we have another feedback here.
Laura asked about the free things at Disney. We did a video on this about the free things at Disney other than Springs and Monorail. Because
you skipped one. Lita said Epcot is good for Nemo, the aquarium, Frozen, and the Mexico ride. Although I think the Mexico ride might be under refurbishment.
Right, Los Caballeros?
I think I saw that too. So I think you're right about
That's Pierce's favorite ride.
Yes.
He loves the
three Caballeros.
The three Caballeros.
Yes. But our kids, probably their favorite ride in all of Epcot is... Oh, why did that go off? Their favorite ride in all of Epcot is Nemo.
Yeah, we ride Nemo every time. I like Nemo. I think it's cute. It's one of my favorite things. And there's the aquarium at the end, which is really nice too. So for Carla, who asked about Epcot, that is one option. There is the Nemo ride with the aquarium attached to it, which is good for small children. So.
Oh, right. And they can spend all day long just in the aquarium portion of it.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they don't like the Frozen ride.
It drops at one point, and they don't like that.
And they don't really like Spaceship Earth. We've tried that a couple of times. But when you get up to the top of Spaceship Earth and you can see like Earth being projected on the ceiling, you kind of feel like you're in the dark, and then the chairs turn around and then you are going down backward in the dark. And the reason that they do it that way is because you're going down at such a steep incline, but because the kids can't see where they're going, that
it's a little scary
scares them. But at the end, there is an interactive thing that they can do that is a fun, like, free play area. There's also a free play area that we often overlook outside of Mission Space as well. So you don't think of going over to the Mission Space area because that's not a toddler thing. It's not a toddler ride. It's barely an adult ride. I mean, it's a Mission Space. It's really kind of tough. But there is kind of a free play area over there for that. But yeah, good thoughts on Epcot. From Lita there. And then Laura Wildfire, she said, we're actually coming to Orlando in a couple weeks, but don't know if we want to splurge on Disney tickets. Thinking we'll do Legoland for the first time.
Yes, do Legoland. We love Legoland. We just renewed our passes to Legoland, so we'll have some new content coming out. But that is perfect for small children, especially if you don't want to go the Disney route. We highly, highly, highly recommend Legoland. Our kids love it.
Sure. And also keep watching our channel because we just renewed our Legoland passes. So that means that more Legoland content is coming soon. We're going to update our What We Wish We Knew before going to Legoland video. And we also are going to do a live stream where we do Q&A about Legoland because Legoland has been so popular with our audience. And it's because of the age group. Some things that and I know that this live stream is specifically about Magic Kingdom, or about Disney with a toddler, but I have a video that I'm going to do about Legoland versus Disney and talk about some of the advantages of why you might choose Legoland over Disney in some cases. So there are some advantages, and cost is definitely one of them. And there are some disadvantages too, and food is definitely that. So
yes, Legoland food is terrible.
And
just
it's expensive.
throwing that out there. Yes,
Well, we may
watch
have
the
just,
videos.
we may have just ruined
Laura.
any opportunity for them
Make
to
sure you
host us. But
pack some food because their food is not good and it's expensive. So.
So, some other free things to do. Lita is right. She mentioned that you can go to the boardwalk.
Yes,
and
that's
then
fun.
also you can do the electrical water parade, which actually I always hear this playing and think that we want to go over there. But then Elena is not a night owl, so usually by the time they start playing the music for the electrical the electrical water parade and stuff, she's
I'm ready to go home.
done.
I'm finished.
But someday we'll have to check that out. But that electrical water parade sails across like the Seven Seas Lagoon, I think is where it is, but definitely on the water behind the deluxe monorail resorts. And you'll have to check the way that you can find the times for it is going to any of the monorail resorts websites and looking up there's an activities section on the website. So I was just like on the Grand Floridian one last night, and you can scroll down to the activities section and you can get the time for that. So and also one of the things that we did a video about going on the boardwalk, but one of the things that we did not cover in that video, just because we were there mostly during the day, but there are a lot of different things that you can do on the boardwalk in the evening, because they have like performers and like there were some people doing like hula hoops and different things, which we've caught at other times. We just didn't capture those on video. When we stayed at the Boardwalk Resort.
Yeah.
I think that may be on our Boardwalk Resort video, but we spent a whole day exploring the boardwalk and all the resorts back there. But definitely it's better to do that kind of in the evening if you can. And then Lita says that her kid screamed and hit his face with Ratatouille. And
that's a gamble.
Yeah, Ratatouille is a bit hit or miss.
Yeah.
We love Ratatouille. That is an exciting ride, but there is a section where, because it makes you feel like you're so small and everything is so big, and there's especially a place where it's like Ratatouille is running under the gas stove and the flames go up.
Yeah, it's scary.
And it gets a little hot inside. So that scares kids because it has all of those senses like all at one time.
And that's in Epcot, if anybody's wondering.
Right. Leo was still talking about Epcot.
Yeah.
There is a similar ride to that in Hollywood Studios. It has that same like trackless ride design, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And Vivian was watching a lot of POV videos of that particular ride on television. So we thought that she would really enjoy it. But what actually ended up happening was that when we actually got to go and do it, Pierce and Vivian got really scared because it's really immersive. And there's one part where like you go into these kind of like alcoves and you're surrounded by these screens, which is so much fun. Oh, it's on the screen right now. But whenever that happens, like it makes it like you're going down a waterfall, just like what's on the screen right now. How coincidental is that?
That's so funny.
And but that part was really scary and you can see Pierce's reaction at that time, which we always want to maybe like try it again because they do get a little bit older and don't react the same way. But that's another one very similar to Ratatouille that they responded to in that way. And then Lita also says, we got stuck on Spaceship Earth for like a half an hour.
Oh, that's terrible.
On the native hunting the mana, and the music was awful.
Oh, that's awful.
That is so...
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's... I'm sure it was terrible then. It is really funny now to think about.
That's awful. What a horrible ride to get stuck on.
We got stuck on the Nemo ride.
Oh, yeah.
And like they have... Because when you take those like the dark rides and you're riding through them, every room is like a different scene. So whatever was going on in front of us was like Dory, like repeating herself over and over. It's maddening.
Yeah. Like if Dory talks one more time, we're about to just get up out of here. You read those stories about people getting out of rides at Disney and like leaving and then being kicked out of the park. I'm like, I kind of get it, you know? I'm about to lose my mind in here. I need to get out.
That's funny. Tell us in the comment section below which ride in Disney World would be the absolute worst to get stuck on a loop?
I'll go first.
Okay,
The
hers
Small
is
World.
easy.
I hate that ride. I will never ride Small World again. I think it's so creepy. I hate the music, the dolls. If I got stuck in there, I would I would just want to pass away because I just would not be able to handle that.
So it's at this point, I think we one time got paused on the Three Caballeros ride, and there was a thing where like Donald was like going across.
That's
and he
not as
kept
bad to me.
Going across. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. But tell us in the comment section below which is the absolute worst ride to get stuck on. Maybe you can tell us something other than Small World, since Elena already took that one. So
Oh, she said stuck with a 1.5-year-old. That's even worse.
yeah.
Oh my word.
Oh,
Poor little guy.
Well, because kids, they
don't understand that
Yeah.
you're stuck there. So especially at that age, they want to get off. They don't understand why they have to be there. So
That'd be a great
glad you
video about
survived,
Legoland opposed to. That would be a great video about Legoland opposed to Disney. Yeah, thank you for that. I actually recorded it like several months ago, so it's been ready to go. I just haven't had time to edit it. I did a lot of editing over the break. The video that's coming out tomorrow is something that I edited like over Christmas that we recorded back in June. So anyway, life gets crazy. Electrical water parade is really boring. Not worth going out of your way. Really, that's so
See,
funny.
that's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
But
Well, for Elena, anything after 8 p.m. is
yep,
boring.
I'm not here for that.
Like,
I'm
she
not
doesn't-
impressed by the fireworks. I don't care. Like if it's late, so I'm ready to go home.
So, I'm looking.
I actually really love Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think I'd mind being stuck there, to be honest. I don't know. It's not my worst ride, but that would be tough if you don't like the dark.
So, someone asked about Tom Sawyer Island. They said this, is the island, so is Tom Sawyer Island stroller friendly? We have 2 strollers for our 3-year-old quadruplets and been wanting to take the kids to Magic Kingdom so bad because since the lockdown in 2020, we haven't gone on any big vacation. So Tom Sawyer Island is not
No.
stroller friendly.
They make you leave it before you get on the little ferry boat
Right,
that
you
takes you there.
cannot take the stroller
So-
on the ferry.
Nope, don't take your babies there if you need the stroller. You're gonna be out of luck.
And I wish I had more to say about that, like a hack or something, but I
You
got
just can't.
nothing.
They don't.
Yeah.
They literally don't allow the stroller to go onto the ferry to get there, and you have to use the ferry to get to Tom Sawyer Island. So, yeah, that would not work, unfortunately.
Let's see. The next one is someone asked about how old Vivian was in the video, just so they could compare for their own child.
Someone says, should they take a stroller for
Oh,
their
okay.
son?
So we're going next week. Should I? This says bro
Bring.
age.
I think it's supposed to be
Maybe
bring. Should
Okay.
I bring?
A stroller. My son is 4.
Yes.
So here is the thing about strollers. This is something that I think we fail to address because we live close. I don't always think about mentioning this in our, this is like a content problem for us. I need to make sure that I remember this. This is actually a really, really great question. So listen to this. Yes, do bring a stroller.
Yes.
But I realized we don't actually fly to Disney World, so we don't think about the logistics behind that all the time. You do not have to bring your stroller on the plane necessarily. Now you can do that. We're actually planning to produce a video.
We have a different hack video for that.
Where we have recommendations for like flying with toddlers. But we haven't gotten that one out yet either. So we have lots of aspirations, very little time. But you can rent strollers in Disney World, and so
It's so helpful though. If your child is under 10, then yes, please get a stroller. It's a long day of walking that they're not used to doing. Now we go every week. We still use a stroller because our kids are going to be crying by lunchtime. I'm tired. I want to go home. I'm tired of walking. So if your child's not used to doing that, then it's going to be a rude awakening for them to walk all day long in the park. So yes.
Now, we do have a viewer that is like a regular viewer of our channel, and he frequently mentions that like their family's adamant about not taking strollers, but I feel like that's more of like a philosophical decision.
That's an exception
So,
to the rule
yeah.
because for me as the mom, it's not just about my child being seated. although that's a major part of it, you also have to have somewhere to have your diaper bag, your extra water bottles, your popcorn bucket. You don't want to carry all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't. So that all goes in the bottom of the stroller, and you're just pushing one thing as opposed to carrying 15 things like I'm doing in this video over here.
Yeah, his is, but his reasons are like more philosophical, like, you know, it's kind of a parenting decision for them.
And that's cool,
And
but-
so, you know, to each their own.
More power to
But
them. I'm
I
taking my
do
stroller.
think that if you, that you should, you can bring a stroller, but you can rent a stroller.
Yeah.
From Kingdom Strollers is very popular. And actually, if I think of it, we can place an affiliate link in the description below, but Kingdom Strollers is a possibility for that. So if you're thinking like, okay, well, I don't want to lug it around on the airplane or something, if you have some other options for that, then that's fine. You can rent one. And the cool thing about Kingdom Strollers is that they will sanitize, they have one sanitized and clean for you, and it's parked, they will park it at your resort with your name tag on it, and you can pick it up when you arrive. Usually we see them parked outside the resorts. We've never actually gone through the rental process, but I think Bell Services can help you with that, because Bell Services would be used to doing that. And I do think they service most resorts in Orlando. So when you go to their website, you can kind of look at that. So even if you're not staying on Disney property, it can still be a possibility to rent from them. This one says, taking my 2-year-olds in January, and I was thinking of 2 days at Magic Kingdom and 1 day at Animal Kingdom. I'm all about the magic at their pace because I know they will love the shows and experience as much as the rides. I was going to do a rest day in between parks, but park days, but seeing how much there is to do, I'm wondering if 3 days at MK is the best idea. You know, Toddlers, they could do the playground for an hour alone. Do you have any thoughts on that instead of Animal Kingdom, or did you find they needed as much rest in between? So, do you have any thoughts about that?
That's kind of tough for us personally because we don't do Disney as like one vacation week a year. So we're not packing all of our Disney into 1 week. We go every week because, well, not every week.
Yeah.
We go about once a month now, but we live here. And so we have the passes. So it's a little different for us to say, oh, you totally need to do a rest day in between, as opposed to, well, maybe we'll do 3 days at Magic Kingdom. I think I personally would do 3 days at Magic Kingdom so that I could do restful days, if that makes sense. So you go in a little bit later, you do something fun, you do a couple things in Magic Kingdom, you take them back to the resort, take a nap, go back in the afternoon, do some more things, and do that for 3 days. So they're kind of still on their routine, but you're not taking like a whole day of not being somewhere, if that makes sense. And you're not packing as much into 2 days. That's how I think I would do it.
Yeah, so that's one perspective. The other perspective would be mine, where I'm like, let's do everything, because I have a lot of FOMO.
Depends
and
on
stuff.
how cray-cray you are.
So yeah, I would recommend. So Lita said, take the rest day, enjoy the resort. I totally think it's awesome to do a rest day and do a resort day, because actually there are a lot of things to do around your resort. Your kid would enjoy just play. Like a couple of the resorts have some playgrounds, they have kids clubs, they have Animal Kingdom Lodge, as you know, is one of our favorites. And at Animal Kingdom Lodge, there is that excellent splash pad area. And then giant pools. A lot of times they have water slides. There are fun things to do at the resorts. And then Animal Kingdom Lodge, you have like the animal scavenger hunt. So you really can easily take like a full day at any of the resorts and just enjoy that, but it's still restful. If you are looking to, so I do recommend a resort day. It would be one thing. But, you know, if you think, well, I'd like a little variety, you could easily fill the entire time with just being at Magic Kingdom, like she said. Or if you feel like you want some variety, just plan to do just a few things at Magic Kingdom one day and just a few things at Epcot the next day. But the one thing that we would both agree on, whatever the variation is just know that you're not going to be able to do every single thing there is to do at any one of the parks in one single day.
It's not possible.
With your toddler.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it may be possible at Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, but it would be pushing it. And like, you know, we would not typically recommend that for most people. So that is, our recommendation is just kind of take things at an even pace across a few days.
Yeah.
Is the way we think about that.
Hi, Robert. Robert says, hey,
Yes.
guys.
Hey.
I was trying to see what the little symbol was.
Yeah, it looks like
It's
an
like a little-
alien waving. That's a pretty cool emoji. So Lita
love
says,
that.
yes, open play is something I appreciate that you all hyping up. It's important to kids.
Yes,
That
oh my
is
goodness.
that is always one of our top
100%.
recommendations. Our top recommendations for Disney with Toddlers is always going to be go at their pace, remember their schedule, especially when it comes to like dinner time. If they eat at a particular time, try to make sure that you're at the restaurant like 30 minutes ahead of time, or like eat before they know they're hungry, because when they're tired and overwhelmed and then you add hunger to the situation, it's going to be bad.
Death nail in the coffin.
And then break up what you're doing. Don't just stand in line, but have some free play zones and try to work the variety into your day, because standing in line. And that it goes back to that Legoland thing. One cool thing at Legoland is in nearly every line, they can build with Lego.
Oh, we love that
while
about
they're-
Legoland. Yeah,
So-
they have little stations at the waiting areas that they can play. So we love that. It's good.
So we have another question. So I'm going in October with a 3, 4, and 1-year-old. What rides can a 1-year-old go on? Can she go on most of these rides that you're showing? This is Magic Kingdom. And that is yes.
Yep, sure can. And we love that about Magic Kingdom, because we've been taking Pierce since he was a newborn, a baby, and he's ridden a lot of stuff. Even at that age, they're babies, so you can
I
take them.
think that one of the things that we actually didn't make a lot of videos about Magic or like Disney World with a baby. And that's because the first time through, we were really navigating that with him, because we had taken Vivian, but the first time we took her, she was 2 years old. And then now we've kind of grown with her and she's 6. So we're at some different stages with her. But Pierce going as a baby, that was the first time we ever did that. And we were really skeptical about taking our kid on certain rides. The one thing I would say is Disney lets you take your child on any of the rides that are considered to be gentle. But I recommend looking ahead and finding out what the elements of that ride are and use some parental discretion and common
Yeah,
sense.
because some rides spray water, and I remember taking him on a couple of things. I don't even remember which things.
Like
it
even
was,
Mickey's
but-
PhilharMagic sprays water.
Yeah, it sprays water, and you don't want something to spray water at your newborn baby. Like that's
Yeah.
not that's not a good thing.
Yeah. So we still would take him to Mickey's PhilharMagic, but you want to be aware when the water part is coming, and you want to cover them because they're going to start crying
Yeah.
in the middle of the theater. And then also like Pirates of the Caribbean, like I think you can take your baby on that ride. You can, but I mean, do you really want to do just a drop into the darkness with your 1-year-old?
Yeah.
I
I
wouldn't recommend that.
I'd watch some videos first.
Right.
But like Living with the Land, we took him on that at Epcot. That was great.
And he loved it as a little baby.
Yeah.
And I love it as a 35-year-old man.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
Living with the Land is great. So Lita says, as a kid who frequented Disney, my fondest memories are the pool, resort hopping, monorails, skylines, those cool playgrounds, eating ice cream, riding the Surrey bikes. Tell
There's
us
a
more about
comment.
the Surrey bikes. Are those the bikes that they can get at the boardwalk? Because I saw those. They're like little rickshaws with like, there's like a bicycle and then like a bench seat in the back. Is that what that's called? I didn't know what they were called, but I've seen them, I think.
I was gonna say
Confirm
that-
if I'm right.
That
So-
comment is something totally that Vivian would say that her favorite things were at Disney. My favorite thing was the playground we went to at Disney.
Yeah.
The ice cream we ate.
So yeah, and actually what you're gonna find is that the things the kids like the most are like riding the bus. Like,
Oh yeah, Vivian loves the bus. And so does Pierce now.
Yeah.
And the monorail. He loves the monorail when we go to Magic Kingdom.
But resort hopping is totally underrated.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun to
We
go
love
from
it.
resort to resort. Now it's a little bit inconvenient because you have to always go back to like a hub point. Like you have to ride a bus from a resort to a park or a resort to Disney Springs or something, but they don't go from resort to resort. So that can be logistically a little challenging. But if you work that out, It takes a lot of time, but it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And would you say that FastPass is recommended for these toddler rides? We are not good people to ask about though.
Yeah.
What do they even call it now? It was like Genie Plus. It used to be FastPass and it was free, and it was Genie Plus, and now it's Lightning Lane or something.
We don't do those things, and mostly because we're there a lot. But I can understand if you're going 1 week out of the year and you want to ride certain things, then I probably would do it at that point. But we're not experts in fast passes, so I'm not sure.
We are going in November with a 4, 3, and 2-year-old. What time would you recommend getting to Magic Kingdom? We want to try to stay until the fireworks. So,
Not
okay,
rope drop.
there are 2 things that I think we want to say in regard to that answer, like answering that question. The first thing is, if you're going to fireworks, we would definitely recommend a later start, but also definitely recommend breaking up the day with like a nap in between, because fireworks is really late at night for most kids. Now, I think we have some friends and their kids stay up pretty late at night, but most people I talk to, their kids go to bed at like 7, 8 p.m., maybe 9 at the latest. Well, 9 is when the fireworks start, and then you've got the whole show, and then you have to exit the park in the middle of the night with your tired child.
And everybody else.
Yes, and you know, you're being corralled like cattle, and depending on what time of year you go, it can be really crowded. And so just really think that part through when you think about what time of day you want to start. The other thing about starting at Magic Kingdom is that you want to take into consideration that Magic Kingdom, getting into Magic Kingdom from the parking lot. So if you're going from like a monorail resort or going from one of the other resorts, you might just have the bus time from another resort. But if you're coming in from the parking lot, we have had it take up to an hour or more to get into Magic Kingdom. So it can be 45 minutes to maybe even an hour, hour and a half, depending on how busy it is, because you've got to leave the parking lot and you've got to cross the Seven Seas Lagoon, and then you've got to go through park security, and then you've got to go through the ticketing. But it's that like going across on the ferry or going across on the monorail at the beginning of the day with all the lines, it takes a little while to get into Magic Kingdom. So if you're trying to get there super early, and you really like your kids are old enough, you can do the rope drop till whenever. Or if you're planning to have an early day, then at Magic Kingdom, then what you're gonna want to do is look into like what time the parking lot actually opens. So like those people who are like, oh, we're gonna get there as soon as it opens. Look at what time the parking lot actually opens and then arrive, you know, that time. Because if you wait till like the time the park actually opens and then you arrive in the parking lot, then you're gonna have to do all that. But we usually, you know, and once again, our experience is a little different because we live so close and go so frequently that we don't usually do that. We usually arrive like maybe 30 minutes to an hour after the park is opened. And we've actually found that by then, those initial like, let's get in right now crowds have died down. And we end up going in at about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have tried to get there like, oh, this is the time the park opens. And then you get stuck in all those lines. And then if we just wait like 30 minutes later, then we just walk right in behind all of that.
Yeah, well,
So.
we could have still come at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we should have just stopped and had breakfast at Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
So, were you able to bring the baby on anything? I have a 1.5-year-old. We sort of answered that one already. Will he be able to sit on my lap or right next to me for most of these rides? And so we answered that. Most of the rides with no height restriction. Basically, their thing is like, if it's a gentle ride, I think is the way to do that. And then what do you do with the baby? Was there anything for the 6-month-old? We got to ask that again. And then did your infant child go in all the toddler rides, or did you guys take turns? I will say that taking turns is also an option. And then also something that we don't take advantage of often enough that we probably could is you can do rider swap with some of the bigger, like more thrilling rides. Like Tron, you can do rider swap. Does Space Mountain do rider swap? Maybe. Mission
sure.
Space maybe does rider swap if you want to ride that. Guardians would be like a rider swap ride, probably. But you can look up the list of the rides that would do rider swap, and it's mostly those rides that are too thrilling for children their age. And what you can do is like one parent can go while the other parent is with the kids, and then you just kind of change places, and the other parent gets to go through like the FastPass. And also, if you're going like just as a couple, something to take advantage of too is you can do single rider sometimes too, and you can get in line next to each other. You might not end up in the same car or on the same ride.
We've done that.
Sometimes that can be advantageous if you're trying to knock out a bunch of stuff, but that's obviously not a hack with kids. One thing I was going to say also, but then sometimes we do take turns with that. Another hack that we didn't cover in our ride hacks video because we were still, learning some, is the purple flag hack. If you go to the Tomorrowland Speedway and your two kids want to ride, like for example, if she and Vivian are going to ride together and Pierce and I are going to ride together, and Pierce wants to drive and I want to drive, or what happened was I rode and I had Vivian and Pierce with me in the same car, and he wanted to drive and then she wanted to drive. What we did is we got the purple flag, and you get that from a cast member. You ask for the purple flag, and they put the purple flag on the back of the go-kart of the car, and then you go around one time. When you come, they turn the car off, you switch riders, they turn the car back on, and the next rider is able to ride, and you don't have to get back in line to do that. So that's kind of a rider swap hack with that. And which park is your favorite with traveling with a 3-year-old? This is a slightly different question than the ones that we've answered before. Usually we've tried to frame like how you could make that decision, but like which ones do we really like? If we were going to rank them, it would probably be for kids, like from the kids' perspective, it would be Magic Kingdom first, then Epcot.
I was going to say Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, and well, for me, I think Epcot would be the second because it does have some rides. So it's got Nemo and Figment and Living with the Land, and which we mentioned a wild card is Ratatouille, but it has the Beauty and the Beast sing along and then all the princesses and stuff. So we have stayed busy at Epcot a lot. And then Animal Kingdom. So I guess that would be a close second. Those would be the runners up. But the last one would be Hollywood Studios.
It's just not great for small children. I mean, they have Toy Story Land, but even Toy Story Land, there's nothing that like Pierce can ride, and
there's
barely
no playground,
and barely anything that Vivian can ride, to be honest. And I know we said we weren't going to do ages, but I really would do Hollywood Studios if you have a child that's around 10, 12, 13, because especially if they're into Star Wars, things like that. It's really big on that, and it just has an older vibe. We've taken our little children there, and there's a few things they can do, but we would pick Magic Kingdom every time over Hollywood.
But for small children, there are no free play spaces in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, and that's important for small children to be
but
able to
Epcot
do.
has a couple of free play spaces, several free play spaces. Magic Kingdom has some free play spaces. And then Animal Kingdom has some free play spaces. The jury's still out as to what they're going to do with the dinosaur ride. The dinosaur land. I was hoping for Zootopia, but I think they're going a different direction. I think last I saw it looks like Encanto maybe. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But the Dino Dig area is a place where our kids can spend a lot of time.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that whatever they're replacing it with will include a playground. So what you got there?
It's a sucker.
Oh, okay. So a lot of questions about the baby. Maybe we really should make a video about that because there are a lot of questions about that.
Yeah,
and I do understand because we were concerned about that. And then this one says, do we need a FastPass or do we skip? I don't think we really answered that. My answer is we actually never use FastPasses. I think part of it is just like my tendency to want to like strategize and also not to spend money on that. That's the big thing. Is like I just don't want to spend money on that after spending all like it costs so much to eat there. It costs so much to get the tickets, and then if you have tickets, and you might have to pay for parking and stuff. So we don't do the fast passes. But if you're only there for a really short period of time and you're trying to put in like, I don't think I would do fast passes for any of the Fantasyland rides. Do you?
I don't think so. The only thing I would personally do fast passes would be, it would not even be for our children. It'd be for myself so that I can ride Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy at a certain time. But our kids can't ride those, so there's nothing I would do fast passes for our children for. But that's just me personally.
I think that the fast passes would be things like Flight of Passage,
Yeah, definitely.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Tron.
If I were really pushed on time, I would do fast pass for Ratatouille, fast pass for like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway maybe, also the Rise of the Resistance, that ride, which those are all, none of those are toddler rides.
Yeah.
So I guess the specific answer to this question is like, will we do fast passes for any of the toddler rides? Probably not.
No.
The only one maybe would be like, you could get stuck in line for the Peter Pan ride because Peter Pan breaks down a lot.
Yeah.
So this one is, did you do all of this in one day or in multiple days? We have never done any one of the parks, like everything to do in any one of the parks in one day. We've never done that. And what day did you guys go? Looking for the least busy day. So this is tricky.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of factors
Yeah.
that goes into that.
the weekends are usually going to be pretty busy, right?
Yeah.
Because not only are you going to have like out of town guests and stuff like that, but like more of the locals are going to crowd in at that time, like pass holders like us. So like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can expect it to typically be peak days. Because when we go online to reserve our pass time, I will sometimes look to see which days are like blocked out, and almost always like, Fridays are going to be like, some of the parks are going to be full, and Saturdays and Sundays. So if you're looking for like a particular day of the week, middle of the week is pretty standard. It's going to be maybe lower crowds. Monday can be, I've heard someone give the opinion that Monday can sometimes be the busiest Magic Kingdom day, or one of the busiest Magic Kingdom days, because sometimes people are starting their vacation, and a lot of people starting their Disney vacation want to start with Magic Kingdom. So that could be something to look out for with that. But Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, my reasonable guess is those are going to be the lower days. What Disney parks do your children like the most? I think it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
But they pretty much like Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and Epcot. So those are the ones. All right, those are all of our top questions that we get concerning toddlers at Disney World. So once again, if you have some questions, be sure to leave those in the comment section. We'll be glad to address those, even if you're watching this video playback at another time.
And thanks, Lito, for the $5. That's so nice.
Oh yes, actually yes. Thank you so much.
So sweet.
And Laura said that it really was bedtime and not time for a nap.
After the fireworks, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
My kids are sadly night owls. We did the whole day for the first time. My 11-year-old took stroller naps. Oh, but my 3-year-old didn't take a nap until after fireworks. It was really time for bedtime and not a
That's
nap.
not a nap. That's funny.
So, and that does happen. I mean, realistically, we do strongly promote pausing in the middle of the day and taking a nap. But sometimes kids are so excited to be there that they wear themselves out. And that's something you're just going to have to be aware of as a parent. When they're not regulating in that way, then you're going to have to make up the difference. Because I think the reason we emphasize that is that if you're especially doing it a few days in a row, we have heard people say the absolute worst things to one another and their family
At Disney.
Yes. So it's like we've heard some really horrible family fights, and it makes sense because everybody's hungry, everybody's tired, it's hot. They've been going really long and hard, and so then they just turn in on one another. And so those are the kinds of things that we want to try to help you avoid, and that's the reason that we make these videos. So those are, thank you so much again for all the comments and the participation. Thanks again for the donation, the $5 there. And once again, you can leave any questions in the chat below. We look forward to hearing from you.
Bye.